Well, hello, everybody. I hope y'all can see me. Let's see if I can enlarge this. I don't know if I can, but today we're talking to Lynn of Lynn Tarot, Lynn Tarot readings. I'm just now learning how to use this thing, so supposedly there's a way to get us both together, but that's okay if it doesn't work this way because you're kind of the star of the show today. Anyway, so the first thing I wanted to say is welcome, welcome. Thank you, Lynn, for being here. And the second
Thank you for having me.
for having
I really appreciate it.
the other thing I wanted to ask you is how long have you been a reader? How long have you been a tarot reader?
Close to 60 years. I hate to admit that, but I started when I was about 17 and I'm 78. So, but I really, in my 20s. Yeah. So it's been a long time. That's why sometimes I read the cards a little different because when I started reading them, the print was so fine half the time you couldn't even see what the card, you know what I mean? I just went by my intuition. So I read the cards a little different than other people sometimes, but not always.
Well, I think that ultimately it's all about intuition. I mean, it's all about how a card triggers you, because I think we're trying to trigger a part of our a brain that we're not always consciously aware of, and that's kind of how I use the cards. But I don't know if that's how you use the cards.
Yeah, they're a tool, just like if you're reading palms or
Yeah.
what really got me into flowing with people is I, worked behind a small bar that I owned and operated for almost 40 years. And
Mhm.
people would come in and this is, I was 20 when I went in my early 20s, and they'd come in and ask me, at that time I studied birth signs. I didn't know the charts, but I would look up, their rising and, moon and all that stuff. And they would say, well, what do you know about Libras, or what do you know about Scorpios? And I would start and then talking, and then 20 minutes later, I'd still be going. And they would just be amazed, and their mouth would drop open and they'd say, boy, you are so, where did all that come from? And I would think, well, I don't know where it came from. I mean, I had studied enough, I knew the traits, but once I got started, spirit took over and it just fell out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
that was always fun.
that's true for a lot of people that they will just give over. They'll kind of let go and let go, let God or let spirit be the guide as they give a reading. I think that's really pretty. I mean, it's a really beautiful way of putting it. So did you want to do some throws today with me and talk a little bit about what you think is going on with the political situation? You got an opinion you want to share? Or
I don't know about any opinions, but I'd love to do some throws. I know my daughter calls it borrowing trouble. She says I'm a trouble borrower. Maybe I am, but that's because this is another reason. My grandmother was very psychic. My father was. I was born on his birthday, but they only knew when something bad was going to happen. And this also happened to me. And in my 20s, I got to fighting it so bad. I mean, I didn't fight it totally because I had children I worried about, but I had incidents happen that scared me so bad that I wasn't afraid of anything metaphysical. I was just didn't know if I could take the stress. Does that make any sense?
well, I think that's true for a lot of sensitive people because we are empaths. We have these. Sometimes we're survivors of violence. I know a lot of the people who traditionally trained as remote viewers in the military were people that had complex PTSD. I mean, they had heightened awareness. It's like, great, we're going to teach you some remote viewing. So that idea that we're hypersensitive to potential harm, I think it's something I see a lot with empaths, that it has an aspect to it where it's just survival instincts kicking in to some extent. It's like predator prey. You can feel the back of your hair going up,
Yeah.
that sensory awareness that something is not quite right when you meditate on it, like this president, unfortunately. So, do you want to go in and take a look at? Do you want to look at his mental health first? like where he's
Yeah,
at?
we could do that. I haven't looked. Well, last night I had a lot of trouble sleeping, and I kept picking him up, and it was, and all of a sudden it just hit me. This man still does not think this is over in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Okay, let's
He
do that.
doesn't. He still doesn't think it's a done deal. So that made me even more worried. I'm talking about. Oh man,
Okay, so
I usually don't lose sleep, but I really had a time last night.
okay, so I'll do the empath's prayer just because that's the custom here on the channel, and then after I do the empath prayer, we'll just go ahead and we'll take a look at Trump. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and Lynn as we attempt to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower Lynn and myself on this journey to make the best decisions for ourselves, for the viewers, to empower those we love, to help the planet, and even to help those we have strife with. And together we say, Amen. All right, let's go.
Thank you, Whimsy.
You're welcome.
Let me tell you real quick. I love your prayer. That's one thing I love about your channel. It just takes me right back to a lot of training in my past life. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. You got anything? What do you see?
Okay. This is on Trump. Well, the first, let me pull them real quick. You want me to go first? I can go first.
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, just let me pull them. I was lagging behind like usual. The older I get, the more I'm always keeping people waiting. I get to be a nervous wreck about it when I go to town.
You're probably doing a full. I pulled 3 cards.
Yeah, I should have just drawn 4. Worried about his money, holding it in, worrying about what's going to happen to him legally, and the paperwork going on. Biden's still living in his head. That's all he can think about is still thinks he won the presidency. People around him are trying to tell him he didn't. Thinking about walking away because he knows he's going to have to when they shine the light on the money. What's going on? I personally feel, well, whatever. I shouldn't say personally, but my feeling that I keep getting is the main thing he's the most afraid of, and the reason he won't turn a lot of the stuff over to Biden that he was supposed to is because of all the money manipulation that's been done, and there's no way that they could get rid of enough records or burn enough stuff for that not to be found once the sun's shone on it. And that's what he's most afraid of. But he's still totally delusional. He still thinks he has a chance of winning this election. And from the dark side. So that's what came from these. I won't draw as many next time.
Oh, we can do it that way. I mean, this is the first time we're throwing. I mean,
yeah, I draw 4 a lot of times just for the past, present, challenge, and that.
It's interesting when I sat in Donald Trump's shoes after the attack. I saw how seriously it was taken. I felt like I was in a room, that there were FBI agents in the room with me, that they were armed because they didn't know who was who. He was being questioned by 2 FBI officers. He's had his Twitter, he's had his phone taken away, he's isolated. He doesn't have open communication. So to some extent, it almost felt like some aspects of Article 25 had already been created. I feel like he and his lawyers are trying to work out an exit. It would still benefit him to resign to avoid impeachment. Originally, I thought that Pence would have given him A pardon? Pence can't give him a pardon now because he tried to murder I mean, this is crazy. This is what it is like to have a relationship with somebody who has a borderline personality disorder, right? I mean, one minute they love you, the next minute they're coming at you with a knife, right? You can't win with somebody who's crazy. There is no free choice. He's insane, and refusing to leave, refusing to listen. I mean, he's crazy. Look at this. Look at the archetype, inverted Queen of Cups. Cuckoo, cuckoo. I don't know. He's crazy, really crazy.
But this is nothing new, and that's what's this. I don't know if it's because I'm slow to come to realization or what, but it was obvious from the get-go. It was obvious before he even got in. So why are people acting like they're surprised?
Well, that's kind of the interesting psychological question. It's like that story from the Bible, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened. That if you are convinced that somebody is 100% wrong because you've become dogmatic, like this is a dogma card. If you are so convinced that the other person is wrong and they're screaming fire, 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 nope, 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 you would rather get burned down in the House, or in this case blown up in the Senate or whatever they were planning, than admit that the opposition is right. And I think if I took any lessons away from this, it was just how dangerous dogma is. You know what I mean?
It always has been. I think that started most of the wars of the world.
Yeah.
Since the beginning.
Do you want to check to see if the militia is planning another attack? People are worried about that, or do you want to go in and?
Yeah.
I'll end on a positive note, but let's take a look at the militia.
Yeah, let's look at what's going on. I was looking forward to doing this with you because I wanted to look into some of this stuff that's kind of been worrying me.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at the militia. I'm going to do a full deck like you did, though, because I think it needs 12 cards.
Oh, wow.
Oof, I keep seeing the same thing.
Oh, wow.
You want to start first?
Yeah, we got the mercenary, the slow moving knight, whatever you want to call him. He's there with the money. The death card's over the top of it. Yeah, they are planning on coming in. Got the 4 swords in the 3rd house in the foundation. That there's a lot of planning going on behind this. There's a lot of money been put behind it. Somebody's pulling I don't think this is Trump, but somebody, generals, that's been generals, of course, this whole militia is full of military and stuff, but there's somebody that they really look up to. I don't know if it's somebody they're thinking about, maybe if they could get this pipe dream of theirs to come through or whatever, that they might want to put into power or what, but there's somebody above pulling the strings on it. They figured that the people are so confused and delusional that it wouldn't be as hard as everybody thinks it is. It's something that they actually think they could put through because the American people are being led from here to there and yonder like sheep. People need to be aware of this. If they don't want it, maybe this sounds silly, but I think people need to be like, I hate to say this, but if you don't need to leave the house on Inauguration Day or anything like that, I think everybody ought to just lay low.
You know,
And
I agree. It's interesting. I actually keep seeing it from the perspective of the FBI and the raids on the FBI. I always get these raids, the police coming in, you could, like the base of the matter, the Page of Swords coming in, the wish granted. Um, there is this thing that keeps coming up, Lynn. I don't know if this is what you got, but there's this King of Pentacles in the middle of it. It's almost like this guy that's been choreographing it, and he's rather important.
yeah, it came out in mine as the Queen of Swords, but that's what I felt like, that somebody that was who was, even though it's a female energy. Sometime it's still to me it was like somebody's, that was, there's a lot to me that deals with the upper chakras. So a lot of times when I see the Queen of Swords, it's well planned, it's coming through, it's something that's been thought out, worked on. This didn't just pop up because all of a sudden they managed to incite the people and get them angry about. This is something that's been going on for years, and there's already somebody ready to step in there, and it sure won't be Trump if they ever get, if they were to ever do anything, pull anything off like that. There's going to be, I've got the Wheel of Fortune in the ninth house here, and I sometimes that's karmic, sometimes it's like the chickens coming home to roost. So I feel like we all need to just, look for the best, try to do our best, but be very open to what's really and truly going on around us and in our nation at this time. And it does look like we're going to come through this all right. We got the sunshine, we got communicating with other countries. We, hopefully, we come out of this all right. But but I don't think this stuff is over.
You
I
know,
think,
yeah. I think that what you're saying, there's now that I'm looking at this, I think that the militia, they underestimated, they've never gone against the full power of the United States military. They're living in a fantasy world. Because first off, the ringleader is going to get found out. There's something about this hidden guy here, and he gets exposed, and it's around him. He, by the way, wants to break off his relationship with Trump. Whoever Trump was meeting with in the White House, that's going to be linked back to this attack. The ninth house, I got the devil. Chained to this relationship. The fact that there's raids coming, the fact that it's positive energy, like you said, 10 of Cups, and then strength is the final outcome. I think the strength of the military is what I see. I think that they got cocky because they got into the Senate so easily. They've never been in a situation where the National Guards and tanks rolled in. So it's a different kind of energy.
that could have had a lot to do with it. What worries me, this sounds silly. I know we've got the military. I know, they could, there's amazing strength there. But I'm wondering what would happen if they were asked to actually fire on or hurt people coming against them that look just like them. This hasn't happened since the Civil War. And, so anyway, I probably shouldn't even have brought that up, but that's, I just hope that I hope that they're true to the oaths they took and the Constitution and what's going on,
Mm-hmm. Do you want to check and see how the inauguration is going to go? Just check cards on Inauguration Day?
Yeah,
Let's
that
do
sounds great. I'm going to grab a different deck here for this. Yeah, that sounds great.
Next to. The Which decks are you using?
I think the golden tarot for this one.
Nice.
The other ones I was just using the Rider Rate Brilliant because it's easier for me to see.
You know what's interesting? What my first hit was when I went into the inauguration, what I heard from Spirit is that despite every horrible thing that happened, there is something beautiful and poignant about the ceremony because of everything that happened. The continuity of the Constitution, the base of the matter is the world. And then you can see the harvest coming, the time of the harvest. And I really think that that's the Defense Production Act. I always see him, January 20th, 21st, opening up the war chest. And by spring of 2021, there's just this abundance of work. So I love the fact that there's this, it's like a merry little Christmas. It's this humble, but in the end, what more do we need? That we just need the Constitution. Everything else is fluff. He comes with power, the magician in the first house, his crossing card, the Knight of Cups. So he's going to surround him. It's almost like this guy surrounded himself with therapists that are going to go deep into these poor areas and diffuse the situation with the Knight of Cups. Hey, you guys come out of the mountains. I got work for you. It's that kind of, what he sits above, the tower awaits in the fourth house. And I think that a lot of this has to do with concerns about economic crash. He's got smart cookies around him. 5 of Wands sits in his third house. It's what he sits in. It's what he marinates in. Knowledge, information, exchange of ideas. He's already started to do the work. Chariot sits in his past placement. And here's the rebuilding efforts. 7 of Wands sitting in the sixth house. He begins right away to rebuild. Where he is at right now, the Emperor, he's already the president. He's already psychologically the Emperor sitting in the seventh house, which is his immediate environment. The environment next to him, the Queen of Rods, my way or the highway, the hope and the fear. So he's going to have some conflict with Nancy Pelosi. I really think that because she's sitting in the eighth house, which I sometimes see as the conflict. So I think he may want to smooth things out more than he wants. The Five of Pentacles is the poverty card with the tower sitting in the fourth house. They're very concerned about the economic consequences of everything. And then the final outcome for Biden, unfortunately, there's a Ten of Swords coming in. We have to do a clarification. Though we get the world and profit, but Ten of Swords leads me to think there might be protest. I've always seen that, and I'm very concerned about it. Oh, it's regarding also risk of some type of financial concerns.
That makes sense.
I think it's not a physical death or anything. Look, because the tower sits in the fourth house, because this tower is sitting in the fourth house looming, because he's got a Ten of Swords coming, it's look, it's the stress of everything. It's the COVID, it's the Civil War, it's our infrastructure, it's everything. I believe that by March, he'll be able to pull us out of this. But boy, the cards for the economy, I can't stress enough, are just
those sounded,
February
sounded good.
February sucks. Look at this.
Well, we know that. We're already almost there.
But just keep your eyes on the base. You got that nice world coming in.
Now that sounds good, Whimsy.
What do you got? You got something good?
Oh, we got Donald Trump walking away. We got justice coming in. This is just across the top here. We got ways to figure out to work with the economy coming through, and even if they try to hide it, they're not going to be able to hide all the misplaced money and stolen stuff. So there's going to be a lot of stuff really coming out that's going to still shock people, even people that's known all this. On the layout, we've got in the first house, I've got the Death card, which is an ending and a new beginning. We've got the winter coming through, the Chariot. I figure that's the Inauguration and Biden. And definitely, we've got the High Priestess here for the foundation. And I think you were right that people are going to feel so good about this. Just really good about it. And Got the partnership card here. This is what Biden is wanting to do. And also have an administration that's open and showing people what's really going on in it and working with others and bringing in people to help him. And then when we get to the 7th house here, I've also got the 10 of swords. So that is, but on top of that, I've got the 3 of wands, which,
Well, the good news is he's in the place of the Ten of Swords, but he's been vaccinated twice. So we know that they're talking about the psychological and the economy. He's not his health. These are not
no.
health cards.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of help coming through to help him. And he's also going to get a lot of help from people he used to work with, other diplomats and leaders around the world that he worked with before. They're going to get help coming in from there, and more even ideas that they didn't already have, and and study what's working for other countries and bring it in here for when they get all, call in and get the help that from that leadership should have been doing from the top all the way down to start with. There's been nothing going on at the top, and if nobody's giving any leading things from the top, this is going to, I feel like, the universal others, this sounds silly, is going to open up and come down and help the earth. That it's just going to, we're actually going to get help from above. And I also feel that Biden will be able to help with the financial stuff.
Yeah, me too.
But I think more people, no matter which way this goes, whether there's a lot of problems or not, people are going to feel more patriotic. And I don't mean the fake patriotic stuff that the right wing's pushing. I mean, they're going to truly feel like it's a wake-up call, and we need to get more involved and start participating in politics instead of just being on the sidelines.
When you do cards, have you done cards? Do you want to maybe do cards on the future of some of the Trump kids, or are you interested in that, like Kushner or any of them? I think we've got
Kushner. I love doing on him because.
You want to do Kushner first? Let's do the future of Kushner.
Yeah. I haven't read on any of them lately, but every time I've read on them for the last 3 months, it looks like they're going to be lucky if they stay out of jail. But we'll see what comes up now. It changes all the time. You never know.
Yeah.
I know he's been making a lot of trips, to Saudi Arabia lately. I wonder what that's all about, or we'll ever find out.
Oh, they're creating a coin, but that's not a bad idea. I mean, a lot of people want to see that. To have Israel be part of the coin, that would do a lot to put an end to war in the Middle East, because they'd all have a vested interest in, just like you'd have a vested interest in the euro. You wouldn't want to break up the euro. So it's a good idea what they're doing, but I don't think it was Kushner's idea.
I doubt it.
Okay, so yeah, you want to go? You go first.
Well, I'm just now starting to pull, but I was going to ask you. This card has come out every time I've read cards for the last 10 days. The 4 coins. So I was going to ask you if it's been coming out for you.
Showing it up. We can't see it. You got to turn it around.
It's the 4 coins. It's been coming out on almost every reading I've done for the last 10 days. And I mean, it's not always in the same place, but it came out as a signifier this time.
So God, the cards are terrible.
So he's watching his money, huh? Go ahead, because I'm just now pulling mine.
Well, it started off good. You know, he's got a new project starting in the spring. You can see both the Page of Wands, new beginning. It's a spring card, and then Four of Wands, a new foundation, new beginning. It can also be April. So he's got a new plan going. His first house also looked great. He had a magician, so he's in a position of power. However, he's got a crossing card of Seven of Wands, so he could meet with some opposition. When he sits in the third house, an inverted I think that's an inverted Two of Wands, excuse me, trouble getting partnerships going. He's got an expose coming up. His fourth house, the High Priestess coming in. I keep seeing him and his wife ending their relationship with his father-in-law. His past placement, an inverted Knight of Pentacles. I can read that as a gap stop. You know, as kind of like it doesn't move, it doesn't go anywhere. And then the near future is an inverted Devil card. So I really feel this is his sixth house. So I think that it's very likely he could end his relationship with Trump as a way of saving himself. And it goes back to that whole idea of turning state's evidence against your own father. His seventh house is Five of Pentacles. And then his opposition, or the person he's having the conflict with, which I'm assuming is Trump, this is a jail card. This is a card of being trapped. Eight of Swords, and then the hope of fear, Ten of Swords, complete devastation. And then he has the offer, the King of Cups comes in. I'll give a clarification. Complete confusion. Look at that moon. Also justice denied. He's screwed.
Now,
he'll try to distance himself from Trump, but this guy's facing serious. Man, what a mess. Complete lunatic energy is his outcome.
this is just thrown all over the ones I drew. We got the Four of Coins, and then we've got Ivanka sitting right on top of him. We got the Queen of Swords right here. So they're going at it about money and about their life, about what shoulda, coulda, woulda stuff. They're going to find out some way that they're tied in with all this other stuff, even though they've been doing a really low profile. But we got the Knight of Pentacles as the foundation. He's was feeling very, he's been feeling more oppressed. I'm not saying oppression, but oppressed. His strength held down in the recent past, and he's already had offers from somebody to, I don't know if it's to give information to people here that's investigating or people overseas that he's given information to, but he's having all kinds of offers, from a lot of offers, in fact, from all different places. I get a really weird feeling that the reason he's getting all these offers is people thinks he's purchasable, that you can purchase him. Does this sound silly? Like he can be bought, and therefore these offers aren't just from our FBI or whoever's going to end up doing the investigating here. They're from also people wanting secrets. They feel like he's very, that he could just be bought in several places. Yeah, open for business and anywhere in the world. In his seventh house, yeah, he's blocked totally. Got the Two of Swords. I think he had it too. And his whole world is just changing. Karma's coming to bite him on the ass. He's not sure if he wants to be totally away from Trump or totally with him. He's still on a lot of levels, he fears his father-in-law very much, even though he loathes him. And I'm just the outcome is the Four of Wands. And so this is the nicest cards that I have drawn on him as far as him being in trouble or getting in trouble, or this is the first cards I've drawn on him where it hadn't shown him in jail. So maybe maybe we will give information to the right people and end up getting him and his family out of this.
Yeah, I feel like it's leaning in that direction, that it's leaning towards a break, because the only way that Ivanka could have a political career is if she broke off. She's going to have to come up with a judicious way of breaking with this person.
Yeah, I don't think she'll ever have a political career,
Me either.
personally. You know, that there is something that I've been so curious about, and I'd love to see your read on it. And everybody is so afraid that Trump is going to come back like the boogeyman or somebody from his family and stuff. And I think within 2 years that the Trump name is just going to be total dirt. I can't see they're going to be saying Trump who? You know, who are you talking about? Even people that are sitting in his lap now. So I'm curious about, well, within the next 2 years,
Okay.
what's his 2 years from now? What's his power going to look like?
Okay. We'll have that be our last throw, because I think we've gone for over half an hour. So we'll have this be our last throw, the future of the Trump name. Sound good?
That sounds great, honey. I didn't realize it even any time I've been listening to what you said. I've been so into it. I was didn't even realize that much time had
Yeah,
gone by.
2:48. We're doing good. Okay, the future of the Trump name.
Yeah, on New Year's Eve when I was with Becca and them, I wanted to read on this, but they had so many things to read on, but it was I was wondering what we'd come up with. So this is neat because okay.
Disaster. You're right, it's going to be completely dismantled. Oh my God, it's horrible. You know what the final outcome is? Inverted Wheel of Fortune. I think it's going to be broken down and bought out. What's going to happen is that his investors, I think it's going to be broken down and they're going to pay back the investors that lost money, because you can see here, coming out of a situation they found themselves into, Eight of Swords, a new beginning, new partners, Two of Wands. The fact that the Wheel of Fortune is the ending, inverted. The first house of the Trump is inverted Fool card. So a lot of people that were investors into Trump property and are trying to recoup some of their money, and I think that they're going to start tearing things apart and giving it to partners, etc. That's what I've always seen there. Conflicts abound. You know, people want their money back. The feds are going to go in, and then the money and the resources are going to have to be divided up amongst the investors, some of whom are American business people that invested in him, or they invested in property, and then when the Trump name tanks, they can't dump this stuff. That's what I see. I mean, look, rocky waters ahead, karma inverted. I think you're right about it.
Yeah, these cards are terrible. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be Trump who. They're not even the people that were really close to him and everything. They're not even going to want to admit that they ever knew him. Once there's a deep look and what's going on, and justice comes through, and they see what happened to all this money that was they're going to find out it was just a facade, that it's like something like a busting a balloon as far as that. And they are going to investigate this. Oh, well, also in the sky over this, we got him being cut off from everything. People just jumping the minute that he's out and just like confessing all. It's really weird. And then all these lawsuits and stuff, showing where a lot of the money came from, the dark side. Justice coming through. And the last thing that he'll ever be known of is one of the biggest thieves. I think they're just going to go in and find all the coffers so empty that they're just going to be in shock. Even the people that's been up close to him, that they're just not letting them in to look at stuff because there's so much money missing, or maybe paperwork, maybe secrets, but it's going to be, the whole thing is going to be theft. His name is going to be synonymous for the rest of his life with thief. No, it should be already, but but once this stuff all comes in, gets a light shined on it, and justice comes through, and victory comes through for the United States, and he's been cut off, and justice comes through, and this is his this is going to be him and his whole family, just known as thieves. Until I didn't get enough sleep last night, I'll start searching for words, and the words aren't coming out. This is going to be his legacy, the thief card.
The famous thief. You know what? It couldn't happen to a more horrible guy. Right?
Yeah.
He's done so many awful things to so many people.
You know, I don't know.
Well, Miss Lynn, I'm going to end the tape here. So let me just go ahead and say thank you to everybody who decided to join Lynn and myself. If you would like to get a reading with Lynn, you can you can email Lynn at, what's the email again, Lynn?
Lynn Tarot Readings with an S, readings at gmail.com. Lynn Tarot Readings at gmail.com.
Thank you so much for hanging with us. Would you like to come back and do a share readings again in the future?
Oh, if you would have me, I would love to.
I would definitely.
I would just love to. And I just want to tell you that I've been so in awe of you. I was kind of afraid of meeting you because I feel like you're so smart.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I felt the same way about you. I really liked I liked your last video very much, and I liked the fact that you were like me. I recognized that you and I had similar, you put everything down and then you go over it. I like the way you use your mind. I do the same thing, and you create little notes for yourself. I think it really helps. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, I just want to thank you so much, and I want to thank anybody watching and just thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you, and we'll see everybody next time. Peace out.
Okay. Namaste.